Welcome to The Film Frontier. I'm your host, Dan Marcus. In this week's episode, we dive right into Disclosure Day, Steven Spielberg's latest sci-fi film that poses interesting questions such as, do aliens exist? If they do, is it finally time to uncover the truth? And does Richard Dreyfuss's character from Close Encounters of the Third Kind make a cameo appearance? Well, the film answers two of those questions, but since this is a spoiler-free review, I'll let you figure that out after you watch the film. In Disclosure Day, we follow cybersecurity expert Daniel Kellner, played by Josh O'Connor, and a Kansas City meteorologist named Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, who race to expose a massive government cover-up of extraterrestrial life here on Earth. Daniel and Margaret are hunted by a shadowy government organization led by Colin Firth, who is determined to silence them before the truth reaches the public. Disclosure Day addresses the extremely plausible idea of the existence of extraterrestrial life in the galaxy. Over the last few years, our own government has declassified vital video and testimony showing the existence of unidentified flying objects, or as the government is now calling them, UAPs. Disclosure Day goes on to explore the concept that the government has been concealing not only unidentified objects, but also unidentified alien life. The notion that we aren't alone in this universe is not alien to Steven Spielberg. He famously tackled the topic in one of my personal favorite films of all time, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and dabbled with the idea in a more modern context with 2005's War of the Worlds. Disclosure Day feels like an unusual marriage of those films, with Spielberg clearly questioning the notion that 1960s nobility hasn't totally faded in an era of post-9/11 cynicism. It mostly works, but one of my major criticisms of Disclosure Day is that Spielberg doesn't really deconstruct this concept sufficiently enough. In fact, I would argue that the script is the weakest link, and that the script's writer, David Koepp, doesn't appear to really know what to do with any of the themes or ideas in the film, despite the fact that Spielberg himself is credited with writing the story. I said this to my friend after we saw the film, but Disclosure Day is the equivalent of getting the sauce but not getting the full meal. There are exciting ideas at play, truly fun sequences, and honestly great performances. But none of that quite coalesces at the end of the film. I left the theater feeling rather disappointed and unsatisfied, and if I compare this to some other Spielberg films in the last 20 years, such as Minority Report or War of the Worlds, or even most recently his remake of West Side Story, this doesn't quite compare. I also hate to say it, but I was even let down by some of the film's action sequences. If you've seen Spielberg's other sci-fi blockbusters, such as the ones I just mentioned, I could list many great moments from those films that are truly memorable and exciting, such as Anderton's escape in Minority Report, or the first time we see the tripods in War of the Worlds. I don't even really love Spielberg's War of the Worlds, but at least I can say that the invasion scenes are visual and exciting, filled with some truly unforgettable blocking. Sadly, with Disclosure Day, there's one sequence that is a little exciting, but ultimately none of the action feels even remotely memorable. Steven Spielberg is easily one of the greatest directors of all time. Now, what makes Steven Spielberg so great? Well, there are numerous factors. You can see his expertise in the way he blocks scenes and moves the camera, giving even the most commonplace moments in his films an unexpected passion. So there's this one scene in Disclosure Day featuring Josh O'Connor that kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time I was watching it. It wasn't a particularly original moment either, but it was the way Spielberg and his cinematographer moved the camera that felt so incredibly thrilling. And it's that kind of tactile filmmaking that is sometimes missing in modern movies. I believe that Spielberg's humanity is what distinguishes him as one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. Communication, or lack thereof, is frequently at the center of his films. Close Encounters uses a combination of computers and music that allows humans to interact with extraterrestrials. It's also apt that one of the key words used in Disclosure Day is listen. Spielberg is well known for sentimentality, which is undoubtedly one of the most notable attributes in his filmography. The moments in Disclosure Day that elicited the strongest emotional reaction from me were simple moments of genuine human connection, of two people discovering a way to communicate in a manner they couldn't previously. So even though Disclosure Day isn't Spielberg's best film in 20 years, I honestly had a great time. This is Emily Blunt's strongest performance in her whole career, with her acting alone carrying scenes and giving them so much life and vitality. The film offers a great message about empathy, and there are absolutely enough moments to make this worth watching on the biggest screen you can find. Most importantly, I'm delighted that I got to see a new Steven Spielberg film in theaters. I hope the thrill and anticipation that a new Spielberg film evokes never fades. Anyway, that's it for this week's episode of The Film Frontier. Sound off in the comments below if you thought Disclosure Day was a home run for Spielberg, or if you left feeling just a little disappointed. As always, I'll see you at the movies. Thanks for watching.